Campbell, can you tell me who made the decision that everybody from 27 to 49, when they go into the website, would receive a price based on the 27-year-old's price?
I don't have that information, sir.
And likewise, the same would be true for the person who is from 50 up would receive the 50-year-old price. You don't have that information either?
I do not, sir.
Was that somebody at CMS?
I would have to believe so.
Okay. And can you also tell me in regard to the changes that were required not to have the browsers so that people could browse and find out what was going on, that change that came in 2 weeks before so that people couldn't just browse and take a look at it, that appears to me just to have been a political change. And I know you can't make that statement, but let me ask you this. When that request came in from CMS, did you tell them that that was going to cause difficulties with getting this exchange or getting this website launched by October 1?
So, you know, for us, it's really a flag in our system, and so we just turned the flag on or turned it off for that particular component.
So you didn't think that was going to cause any problems with the system?
That's correct.
Okay. And Mr. Slavitt, if I read your testimony, it says that you reported that you all did some testing and you reported back to CMS and the relevant contractor who was responsible for fixing the problems that you found. When did you finish that testing?
We would do the testing whenever the code was made available to us.
Okay. When was the last time that you did testing and then notified CMS and the relevant contractor that there were coding errors or necessary changes that needed to be made?
I believe that was all the way up towards the very end.
Okay. And do you know who you were working with on that?
I don't.
And can you find out for us?
We'll get right back to you.
If you can get that to us, I'd appreciate it. And did you alert folks that if these problems weren't fixed, there would be problems? Did you alert CMS that there would be problems with their website if they didn't get this fixed?
We alerted CMS to the results of the tests.
Okay. And Ms. Campbell, do you know who told you all to turn off the browsing option?
I believe it was Henry Chow and members of his team.
Okay. And did they give you any reasons for not making that option live, or am I correct, or am I fair at least to assume that it was a political decision?
I can't answer whether it was political or otherwise.
So you were not given any reason other than that?
I was not given a reason.
All right. And okay. And I appreciate that very much. Thank you very much. I'm going to yield the remainder of my time to my friend and colleague from Ohio, Mr. Johnson.
I thank the gentleman for yielding. Let me continue. Here's why I believe this can't be fixed. It's got to be replaced. This, from what I have seen, based on my experience, this is indicative of failure somewhere along the line to employ the disciplined processes, methodologies, standards to deliver a system of this complexity. In layman's terms, so the American people can understand how complicated this is, this might help a little bit. You know, you can't recook eggs. You go into a restaurant and you order 2 eggs over medium and the server brings you out 2 eggs scrambled. You got 2 choices. You either eat the eggs that you've got, which means you don't get what you ordered, or you send them back and the restaurant owner eats the cost of replacing those eggs. Somebody loses. In this case, it's the American people that's losing, because what we have here is either the development team, of which you folks are a part, did not follow a disciplined methodology, and therefore you didn't see the red flags that were coming up, which calls into question your capabilities and qualifications, or you didn't notify anybody in CMS, as Ms. Campbell has stated, when you saw the red flags coming up, which calls into question your judgment. The only other possibility is that CMS ignored your recommendations and moved forward with implementing a flawed system. Folks, the eyes of the nation are watching and listening to what's being said here today. Some of you are publicly traded companies. I suspect every government agency and every commercial company that you would do business with is watching what you say. I suspect your shareholders and stock analysts are also watching at what you say, because they're going to try to determine, is it your capabilities and qualifications that are at fault? Is it your judgment that's at fault? Or did CMS ignore your recommendations? And that's what we've got to get to the bottom of. And with that, I'll yield back.
Yield
My
back.
gentleman my friend yielded, and hopefully I'm coming
Well,
up next.
the gentleman is next in the queue.